Disruptors are a dime a dozen these days, along with innovators and people who still think activewear is cool when you're not actually active. But, and this is a big but, every now and then something very seriously cool, incredibly disruptive and tantalisingly engaging comes along and redefines the buzzwords. That's CAASie. She's a her, kind of. That's my words. CAASie is changing digital marketing as we know it. Now, are you baffled, confused, or otherwise curious? These are her words and her questions. CAASie says, I'm an online platform for billboards, like AdWords is for ads on Google. Now, Billboards, or rather OO, which is out-of-home advertising, has finally had a revolution and become affordable for SMEs. And leading that charge is Taryn Sariat, scientist, co-founder, and one of CAASie's makers. Welcome, Taryn.
Angela, thanks for having me.
Look, CAASie is really exciting. The platform itself, the digital marketing opportunities, the fact that SMEs have an affordable level playing field to advertise. I'm going to pull that apart, but I've got some very serious questions to ask you first. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, number one. Is it true that you may have been working in a secret government facility?
I can't say.
Right, moving on. Number two, is the creation of CAASie a direct result of unbridled passion, tears, dangerous levels of coffee and sheer stubbornness?
Absolutely.
Number three, how many rocket scientists and molecular geneticists does it take or did it take to build CAASie?
Two.
Two, okay, right. Now, tell me all about CAASie. I'm not a scientist, so dumb it down for us. How can SMEs use this platform?
Well, you gave it a really great introduction. So it's exactly like you said, just like Facebook or like Google, you've got your account, you log in, upload your ads, say exactly when and how you want them to play, all the way down to a single billboard if that's all that you're looking for, and just send it through the system and we do the rest. So it's completely automated from you uploading your ad to the system through to it actually displaying on those billboards.
Now, billboards aren't just outside, right?
Correct. There are indoor billboards as well. So we've got all sorts of things like retail, gym, cafes, pretty much anything you can think of that has any signage, digital signage.
And look, the map that you have on the website, and I can't describe this in any other language other than if you have nothing else to do, and even if you don't care about digital marketing or digital signage, you have to get on the CAASie website because it's hilarious because the language and it almost screams geeky culture, but it's incredibly funny in the wording. So I loved that. It entertained me for hours yesterday. Disney does that for my baby nieces and CAASie did that for me. Now, apart from that, it's really cool. So without being cheeky, did you build this? Is this a Wix platform or a WordPress theme?
It definitely not. No, we have.
I am being a little bit cheeky, but it's a beautiful, beautiful site.
Thank you. Yeah.
The interaction of it, Taryn, and I'm focusing on different things because I really want to encourage people to visit it. But how intense was this build? Because as you scroll through the site, you know, half of the screen scrolls and moves with you, the other half stays static. It knows when you've gone to a different part. It's very intuitive.
Yeah, it took a long time and a lot of versioning, I suppose you'd call it, to see how people were traveling and how everyone was responding to the different wording. So yeah, it definitely was a project on its own.
And I know that you're thinking about updating the site.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be a lot bigger with a lot more content in it, especially videos about how to use the platform for those sorts of things.
But promise me you won't lose the cheekiness.
Absolutely not, no. That's what we're all about here at CAASie.
Well, the boys are anyway.
Oh, yeah.
They're a little bit on the cheeky side. Now, look, the industry's been incredibly impacted and there's some intense data out there. I mean, PwC's done a lot of reports around the industry and I always sense that there's big bucks in an industry when you get reports churned out by entities like PwC. Now, they've got loads of insights on the industry. 74% of Australians see billboards every day. 45% of Australians believe billboards bring new products to their attention. That's pretty intense data. Is this one of the reasons you guys had this idea and chose to go down this particular rabbit hole, because it's such a big industry?
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. Prior to CAASie, we were a branding agency, and we found that it was very difficult for smaller brands to actually get up there with any sort of traditional media, whether that's billboards or TV or whatever it happened to be. And we just saw an opportunity to make that a whole lot easier.
Now, a lot of people think that with billboards and billboard advertising, that you have to be a business that has a wide reach or is seen in lots of places for it to have any real meaningful impact. The beauty here, though, is as I was exploring the site and I made my way to the map and made my way to the different spots on the map and where the billboards are, I could theoretically, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I could be a geographically located business, for instance, on a particular street. I could have a business on CAASie Street. I may have a single standing business, so I'm the epitome of a small business owner, one single site, and I can choose to advertise on a particular billboard that's in my street that I know has the most foot traffic on, and only choose to advertise on that particular billboard. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yep. You get total control over which locations your ads are played on and how much you want to spend on those ads.
So it's not a blanket contract with someone that goes for 3 months and it says, we're going to time it on morning, noon, lunch. You'll have 10 different appearances, that traditional way of reporting advertising billboards or commercials. This is really sort of in the micro nuanced tiny part of the really small bit of the funnel where you can make the most micro tweaks to something.
Absolutely. So the way that CAASie works is very much in real time. So if you were to display an ad and you wanted to change it 5 minutes later, you could actually do that as well. So it's extremely flexible and extremely easy to use by comparison to your traditional contracts.
So in terms of, you can do real live A/B testing of an ad and physically see how it looks and how it's being received. Also, if you needed to amend or correct, it's not a till death us do part.
Absolutely, that's right.
So when you guys sat down to come up with this brainchild, you must have known that you were taking on Goliaths in this industry.
Absolutely. And honestly, the first meeting that we went to with the media owner, we got laughed out of the room. So it's been a struggle, absolutely. And I think with any small business, there's always those hurdles that you need to jump over. But we reached out to some people in the US and spoke to them about how they tackled the situations and just kept going, basically.
So how long did CAASie take to come to fruition? How long did her makers need to make her?
The idea started in 2017. We didn't originally pursue it, but the actual build to get from scratch to something that we could actually take to market was actually only 3 months. So it was a very quick build.
That's an incredible turnaround.
Absolutely, yeah. We were really...
But that's how many of you working full time on it though?
Only 2 of us.
Okay. So you and Jeff?
Yes, that's right.
All right. Tell us a little bit about your partner in crime.
So Jeff is
we can say anything here.
I don't think you'd appreciate that very much. Yeah, so definitely Jeff, he's an engineer by trade. So he's very much a doer and a tinkerer. So doing what we've done with CAASie was very much down his alley. Although in saying that, because he was an engineer, he didn't know any coding for computing. So he had to learn everything along the way. So we've both been through that journey together, learning how to code and how people perceive different aspects of an app and all those sorts of things.
That's incredibly interesting, because if you're building something where you need to know code and you just went, oh yeah, we'll work it out.
Yeah, that's the attitude at CAASie, honestly. Everything is just, we'll work it out when we get to it.
But that's the true DNA of a small business owner.
Absolutely.
Do now, worry, think later.
Yes.
Okay, so this is You know, we toss around terms like digital transformation, but this is serious digital transformation for the digital marketing world. CAASie giving the ability of being the ultimate disruptor. Do you think her cousins, so to speak, in the industry, do you think they'll learn something from CAASie?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about the different markets, basically. So your SME market behaves and values different things compared to your enterprise level businesses. So there's definitely a lot to learn, and there's a lot of growth that can happen in this space. And it's just a matter of getting the right messages across, I think.
So I'm going to put you on the spot now. Can you give me an example of what it might cost for a small business owner to have a digital campaign on a billboard, and what the bids are like and that kind of process?
Yeah, absolutely.
Walk me through a little bit of it.
Yeah, so each of the different screens actually is running at a different price point. So you've got your smaller screens indoor and your large billboards. Obviously the billboards are a little bit higher cost, but it can go down to 5 cents per play, per individual showing of your ad. So if you were a small business, let's say you were inside a shopping centre, we had screens in there, you could spend $100 a day or less if you wanted to on your advertising in that centre.
Because you pay per play, right?
Exactly.
So you can choose to have it play once a day or twice a day or however much you can afford.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can time part as well down to the hour. So you could say, I know my traffic is going to be here straight after the school run around 3 o'clock. So I'm just going to go between 3 and 4. That's when I want my ads to play.
Because there's no point playing them at 7 o'clock at night or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly, that's it.
It's filling in dead air. What does CAASie 2.0 look like?
So CAASie 2.0 has a lot more data that's going to be involved with planning your campaign. So you'll be able to see a lot more information about who is around the sites that you're looking at and who might have been seeing your advertising. There's also going to be a lot of changes to the way that we structure building out your actual campaign. And we do actually have screens internationally as well, so we're going to continue to grow that.
So CAASie will be globally dominating the digital marketing world?
Well, we certainly hope so.
All right, thank you, Taryn. To our viewers, if you haven't pressed subscribe, you need to do that because YouTube is a land just waiting for you and SME TV is there. To the Piedmont Studio, thank you for making us look and sound good. To the SMEA Association, thank you for your support. If you'd like to get in touch with me, news, tips, tricks, comments, stories, straight to me, news@smea.org.au, and of course we're across all the socials. Thank you so much, Taryn. I can't wait for CAASie 2.0.
Thank you.